when it comes to like, this would be really beneficial if you use this in this way. It's going to work the best if it works for you in your life and you actually do it. So I would honestly suggest we're going to give you some jumping off points, I would say. And then you can kind of take that information and figure out what works best for you in your life and your body. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I'm Kelsey.
Hi guys, I'm Rachel. Welcome back to another week with this crazy duo.
This crazy duo. As I was doing that intro, my brain went back to the last podcast that I did without you. And we've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years or something like that now. And I started it out just like on autopilot. And I was like, it's just the two of us, right? It's like, welcome back to Thick Thighs Save. I'm Kelsey. And then I just paused. And she was like, I think you froze. I was like, yeah, I froze.
Yeah, I froze. Internet problems over here. Oh my
Not
God.
like physically, I was just like
So classic.
So classic. We started again. So you guys, that's some insider information that part didn't actually go live because it was weird. I mean, it's so weird. So I'm happy to have you back to join in when I just
when you glitch out.
I glitch out.
I'll be here when you glitch out. If that's not what true friendship is about, I don't know.
I don't know. So we are going to come back to our series. If you guys have been following along with our biohacking series, I know a lot of you are, and you've gained some helpful insight to what biohacking is and just the layers of biohacking. Because there's
It's like an onion.
It's an onion. There's so many different facets. And the more that I dig into it, I'm like, wow, here's another layer. As soon as you start we're going into hot and cold therapy today, but as soon as you get into light, you start to think about like your circadian rhythms and just the best points to start having light. I recently learned that in the morning, 10 minutes of natural sunlight is really important for your brain health and your sleep patterns. And you wouldn't think about sleep in the morning because you're just waking up, but it's actually really important to set those rhythms for like, this is our wake up, and then melatonin release at night, to really start it in the morning. So it's a ton of really helpful information that can change your life with just a bunch of these small habits.
It's so weird too, because so many of the things that we've covered, when it comes to biohacking, like let's just use that example right there of 10 minutes of natural sunlight in the morning. Like that's kind of a no-brainer. And but it's not a no-brainer in the way that like in modern society, and honestly, in certain climates, like these things have become less of like a normal practice and more of something that you might need to go out of your way for. But if you think about your body on the most basic level, like, sure, of course, sunlight would signal it to be awake. And like what we know about circadian rhythms and why your body, gets tired when it gets dark and why it, comes back to life when it gets light. We know these things, but I think it's just such good examples. Like we know, when you get an injury and when you have swelling, ice is great. And we also know that a tremendous amount of the population has large amounts of inflammation, unnatural amounts of inflammation in their body consistently. And so like we know that like, oh, hey, maybe soaking ourselves in an ice bucket would do some good. And we know the benefits of heat with regards to like blood vessels and expansion. All these things are kind of when you break them down to their most simplistic in using these techniques, it's kind of like, yeah, of course. But it's more just about finding, the time and the products. And obviously, like, you got to go to work and shit.
Well, I think that's what really important when it's come to just modernization and like how our society has progressed over time is that, yeah, you might, um, these things might seem to be like no brainers almost, but they were natural at one point and now they're not natural now. And it's important to realize that with the productivity that we've gotten to on a daily basis, biohacking is a way to insert some of these things that are really imperative to your health and to your function with a modern society, with the use of screens, with the use of waking up earlier and trying to get be more productive during the day, or like the increase in inflammation, or the increase in some of the exercises that we're doing and the need for recovery. As we have looked at like development of human people are living longer, a lot of people are just living a healthier life, but that comes at a price, right? So that comes at a price of like, sometimes if you're living longer, you might need to use some of these hacks to help the longevity and the health of your life throughout your lifespan, to be able to do things like work out for and your entire life, or fit these things into your schedules. And I did want to just say, it's for different climates that you're in, for the sunlight in the morning. Sunlight is the it's the gold standard, right? But you can use artificial lights if you are in a place where it doesn't get light in the morning. You just need a little bit longer to be able to activate your brain in the same way, but you can use other like modern technologies to be able to supplement some of these things and still get the benefits that we're looking to get. But that's what I really love to like wrap our heads around when it comes to biohacking, because it is a modern society, but that also means our response to our health should reflect some type of modern examples. And hot and cold therapy is a really great one. And I think that it has been historically something that you've only thought for me, like super rich people, like have like a sauna or like can be able to cold plunge. But we're going to talk to you guys today about some different types of hot and cold therapy. And we're going to talk to you about some different products that we've tried or that we have done some significant research in, to be able to give you access to some of these benefits without necessarily breaking the bank. Or if you want to invest in something, you will have those options for you too. But it's not just isolated for those people.
I mean, it's always been a case of, the most amazing tools for health and fitness being gate kept by, these immense amount of privilege that comes with being able to afford some of these things, being able to afford the organic foods and vegetables, being able to afford, things like a sauna. I remember like, when we were growing up, if you had a sauna in your house, that meant you were a literal like billionaire. Like
Yes.
it was like, do
Like
you
I
live in a
would go home
mansion?
and tell, like, no, they have a sauna. I can't think of any. I didn't know any of the
No,
people, but
no.
if I did, like, that would be something. Because I know I did have this one friend who had uh not a trailer. It was a mobile home in their like backyard that you could go and have sleepovers over. And I was like, they are the richest people,
Wow.
because they've got it
Wow.
has a
Living
kitchen in there.
large.
And like
Two houses, basically.
two houses. It's like the most amazing thing, and it will stick out in my head as like a childhood memory, but being like, wow, they really have it figured out. And they have that stove top where you can make pancakes where it's flat. And
The
I was like,
griddle.
yeah, I was like, wow. But like if they had a sauna, that would be one of those things. But it doesn't have to be this massive construction undertaking where you're putting in a sauna. Technology has really come a long way. to be able to have some of these portable saunas and cold plunges where you don't need all of these kind of like systems, or you don't need a 360 outlet to be able to just use any of these. You can have them in your house
Yeah,
and break
it's
them down.
I know, and, like, they're, like, a manageable size, like, you don't actually have to have a mansion in order to fit a sauna
Yeah.
anymore. Like,
Yeah.
you can just, like, stick that shit in your garage or, like, um so, one of the questions that, led to this episode was, from a listener because she was wondering we had done an episode on cold therapy specifically, and I had reviewed a like infrared sauna product, which was like, remember that blanket that like I could lay in. And so we had talked about those sort of individually, benefits of cold therapy, benefits of sauna, but we hadn't ever talked about them together. And she was like, so I get that, you know, cold plunges are good for you. I get that saunas are good for you. Are you supposed to use them together? And if you are, how do I do that? Because I'm interested in the benefits that you get from cold plunging. I'm interested in the benefits that you get from sauna. But if I can bring those together and like double the benefits, like this is really hacking now.
Yeah, now I'm
So,
hacking
but
it.
like, how do you
But
how do
how?
you
What's the
do?
routine? Because there is definitely a preferred routine when it comes to saunas and cold plunges. But I will just add a caveat to that where um, routines work when they work for you. So no matter what is the most like, when it comes to like, this would be really beneficial if you use this in this way, it's going to work the best if it works for you in your life and you actually do it. So I would honestly suggest we're going to give you some jumping off points, I would say. And then you can kind of take that information and figure out what works best for you in your life and your body.
Not only that, but of course, the caveat of like, cold therapy has known health benefits. Sauna use has known health benefits. However, you are a unique flower, babe. You
Uh,
are a unique flower. And before you do anything, you need to speak to your doctor. You need to make sure that these are beneficial for you and for your body because you have such a unique body and situation that it's always going to have that caveat of if these things are beneficial for you. And you just always want to make sure with your doctor, you just always want to make sure that these, any advice that we're giving, that first you run that by your trusted health professionals. Okay, so the sauna and cold plunge together technique actually has a name because it has been found those two therapies actually work beautifully together. And I'm like super glad she asked because they do have almost double the benefits when you put them together. So if you're interested in sauna and you're interested in cold plunge, I would highly recommend thinking about putting them together. This is called contrast therapy. And basically, getting super hot and then getting super cold is just great for your body for some reason. So you're just going to alternate between the hot and the cold. And it's got a ton of known physical benefits and it also has a ton of known psychological benefits. So, how you're going to roll is, and this I would recommend before any sauna, not even if you're not doing the contrast therapy with the cold after, any sauna, you always want to hydrate before. I learned this the hard way.
You didn't know? Oh man. So here's the thing that I really want. I'm so glad you brought that up because I just wanted to really drill this home because a lot of people think that if you sauna, you're going to become like super shredded and that's how you lose body fat. And that's just not true. Like, this isn't a methodology for decreasing body fat. And the idea of just like going in a sauna to become more dehydrated is counterproductive to the goal of your health. So like drink plenty of water. When I lived in Massachusetts, I actually did have a sauna, which was super awesome. And I never went in there without drinking a full glass before I went in and taking with me one of my like big jugs, like the size, in with me so that I can drink it while I'm in there.
I'm really glad you knew that. I
You get headaches, you get dizzy.
I made myself really quite sick.
You know what the theme of this biohacking is that like Rachel's exposure to some of these biohacking techniques has been pretty limited, which I just love for our audience. But it's almost like you do all of the mistakes
Yeah.
that people would do first, and then you get to tell them like, hey, so here's the deal.
Ultimate
Like,
ultimate guinea pig, and if there is a mistake to be made on one of these things, I'm going to make it, especially on hydration, because just
yeah.
like in general, I'm a camel, and like I I I just
You know,
people will be
these
like,
people have been on a water journey with you for years now.
I know. It's a work in progress, guys, and this is, I didn't think to I don't know. It seemed steamy in there. So I was
so,
like, what
so
do
what were
I
you
need?
gonna?
I just
Were you just
open my
opening your
mouth.
mouth and catching
I
it?
don't know. It just seemed like, it was moisturizing. So I don't know. You have to drink a full glass of water before you get in, guys. And then, like Kelsey said, bring a water with you. Um, Okay, so how you're gonna do the contrast therapy is you're gonna preheat your sauna and then you're gonna go in for like 10 to 20 minutes. So this is going to dilate all your blood vessels. And also just like it's just in general, it's gonna give you like a relaxation aspect of your body where the blood flow will be very much increased and you will also sort of feel calmer and feel so this is like the psychological aspect. And then if it's your cold plunge, you don't have to rinse. But like if it's like a public one, you should
If it's
probably
a
rinse
group
off.
cold plunge, you get your sweaty ass body in there.
You get really sweaty and I'm like not a sweater also because I'm a camel, so like I don't have any water to sweat out, so like I never sweat. And but like in a sauna I'm like, oh my god, I've never experienced like anything like this. So if you're using a public one, you want to shower first, but if it's yours, just hop right in with your sweaty ass. Then
Just
you get in your
bask
cold
in
plunge.
it.
Yes. So you get in your cold plunge for like 30 seconds to a minute. Obviously, if this is your first time in either one of these things, you just err on the side of like less. So if it's your first time in the sauna, go for the 10 minutes. If it's your first time in the cold plunge, go for the 30 seconds. Like you can work your way up. So you go first sauna, then cold plunge, which obviously is going to constrict your blood vessels and forces blood back to your heart and lungs. So like the oxygen is just like a flowing through your body. And the more oxygen all of the cells and tissues are getting, obviously the better we're going to recover, the better our cellular function is going to be. And just in general, we're just going to feel better. We're just going to function better. And after you get out of the cold plunge, just like sit there for 5 minutes, sort of adjust back a little bit, and then do it again. And like I said, if this is your first time in contrast therapy, you're not going to just like hop into like oh, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth 100 times. You want to just maybe start with two times back and forth. So you're gonna sauna, cold plunge, wait a second, back to the sauna and cold plunge, and then be done and see how you feel. A lot of people do this up to like 3, 4, 5 times even. But you definitely want to work up to that.
Yeah, you don't want to start with that right away. And I honestly wouldn't suggest with either the sauna or the cold plunge pushing it for your first times in there being like, "Oh, I've got to get to that 15-minute." Like don't push it. See how you feel. Acknowledge how much water, how much hydration that you've had that day. And because we don't want this to be, especially when you start something out, you don't want it to be a negative experience. And that's the same reason why I tell people when they go to the gym that you don't need to go in. You definitely shouldn't go in for your first session and spend 2 hours there. Not going balls to the wall. Anything that you just kind of like initially start out, get warmed up or cooled down, if you will,
Right. Yes.
and kind of get used to it, especially the cold plunge. The temperatures in there are usually below 55 degrees Fahrenheit. 55 or below is typically a cold plunge temperature, and that's cold.
That's cold. I do wanna say this,
It's cold.
speaking on that, I also wanna say, like, from a personal standpoint, I can't cold plunge that cold. And I
Yeah.
have done such a such work over the years of not being stuck in this. If you can't do it the way they wrote it to do it, then don't do it at all because it has no benefits. I'm much more comfortable in like a 60, 63-degree cold plunge. And I know that I'll do that. Whereas if it's 55 or below, I just won't. It's just too miserable for me and I'll get like too much anxiety about it and I won't do it. So I just want to say, obviously, the most effective cold plunges are 55 and below. But if you just don't have an affinity to like water that cold and you know you won't do it, it's okay if it's like a teensy bit warmer.
There's been new research that's come out too that has said for people who can't get like just quite as low, especially for women, because a lot of initial research has been done on men who carry just a different body temperature than women typically do,
Right.
and their threshold is just much different. So actually, you can still get a ton of the benefits even if you're in that 65-degree range, because your threshold is different than someone else's. So you're still getting all of the psychological benefits. You're still getting that type of recovery because you're meeting your threshold for what you can actually like sustain.
Yeah, and like the same goes for the sauna. Like we're going to tell you, what is the ideal temperature to set your sauna, but also like you might run hot. You might be receiving the same benefits from
For
a
sure.
little bit of a cooler sauna and I'm receiving very similar benefits from a little bit of a warmer cold plunge. It's just like where your base median temperature is, it like how your body functions. So everything's really personalized. But I did wanna say,
That's why, have you seen too all of the, okay, this is a common running joke that like men can't shower with their wives because they are dragon women. They need like hotter showers.
120% that is absolutely true in my
Like,
house.
it's a running joke with like men being like, is she a dragon? And I have personally experienced this a ton of times with like my partner being like, okay, but like, have you cooled it down yet? Because like my skin is burning off. But that's because like women's body temperature like actually can sustain a hot, like they need that hotter, they need to raise their body temperature up higher than actually men do. We have more important
And
organs.
the answer is, I am a dragon.
Yeah,
See?
the answer is I am a dragon. I
Yes.
know.
So, back out the shower because 'cause I'm trying to take it by myself, okay?
Turn yourself around, get back out. This is
Turn yourself
strategic.
"Oh, it's too hot in here? Oh, too bad. Goodbye." Um
Cranks it up.
It's really just like it's not even, like, scientific at all, it's really just, like, we all got together and we were like, "We just want some alone time, and they keep following us into the shower, so let's all just turn it up, like, to a point where our skin's burning off, but at least we can be alone." Okay, um, with regards to where to end, you do wanna end with your cold therapy. So, if you're
Which is
going
just
to
like the most like
And you know what the other thing is? You're not supposed to shower
Yeah.
after your cold therapy. So it's like, okay,
Well,
so
they
you
know
go
you're getting in the
sauna.
hot
I
shower.
know, I am. I'm going right in the hot shower. They said no to that, but they said research has shown that it is okay to like, for example, sit in the sun, stretch when you're like, stretch out and get some warm on your body that way. Or it's also okay to drink something warm. So, like, if you're getting out of the cold plunge and you're just a freaking miserable bitch like I am, You can have a cup of tea. That's fine. You just don't want to, you want to end with the blood vessels constricted, not dilated. So like if you get in a hot shower after your cold plunge, then essentially you're just going to end with dilated blood vessels again. So that's the order. Just try to end with cold plunge if you can. And if you need to, warm up with like something warm to drink or sitting in the sun, you can do that.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Our biggest event of the year is happening right now, but you're late to the party if you listen to it right now.
You're not fashionably late either, because if you don't hurry up, you're not going to be fashionable. Okay, girls, we've got the best prices all season on our birthday sale. Happy birthday, CVG. We just give the party favors to you, though.
All the party favors to you. We dropped 11 new designs and over 100 discounted items, but it's only while supplies last. So we're going to end this commercial now so you can go grab them.
Go!
Bye. You can do that.
Yeah.
I did want to say too, like, no matter what, this is going to be how it works for you. How I have found it's been beneficial for me in the past, using them separately, has been a sauna at night, because of some of the things that Rachel said, you're more relaxed, you're calmer, like everything kind of comes down. So I have typically used the sauna at night, at the end of my night, then gotten a stretch in, and then go to bed, and I'm like, damn, this is a really good night's sleep. And then for a cold plunge, have used it in the morning, which is wow, you are awake. Like, you are certainly awake if you hit a cold plunge in the morning, and it just feels kind of like you've tackled the first hard thing in your day. And it kind of gives this like jolt of energy for me specifically. So that's kind of how I've used both of those. But again, you can use them however it works for you. I will say one thing to that though. If you're a workout in the morning type of person, you don't want a cold plunge before you work out.
No, never before you work out. No, definitely not. And I will say this too, if you're going to do the contrast therapy, don't do that before bed, because you have to end with the colds. And
And your
that
brain
is
is
not,
awake.
yeah, that's not conducive to like the relaxation that like the benefits that a sauna brings with regards to sleep. So yeah, if you're going to do the contrast therapy, the best way to probably do it, and like this is just ideal, right? We all have to go to work and stuff, but the best way to do it would probably be to work out in the morning, do your contrast therapy directly after your workout, and obviously going to end with the cold, and then you can go about your day with that, increased just like freaking Hulk strength and
Yeah. So you're just recovering all day, and then you're
all
drinking
day.
so much water.
All right.
Reminder, drink your water.
Okay. I have matcha, but
I have matcha. That's not it.
I'll take a sippy.
So we can tell you a couple of different products that we have tried. And we do have a code for you guys during this episode for, one of the more wallet friendly cold plunge and sauna packets together, that you can actually get them as a bundle. So we do have a code for you guys for some money off for that if you want to, if this is something that you're looking into. But we are going to give honest reviews on the products that we tried, and mine's very honest.
Always.
Yeah.
Always honest.
I want you to know what the pros and cons were and where I found friction points, because when you get it, I don't want you to be like, Kelsey didn't tell me like that this is how this went down. So if you want to, so I tried the cold plunge and Rachel tried the sauna.
So SaunaBox was nice enough to send us a sauna and a cold plunge, and we split them up among us. So we didn't do the contrast therapy, but obviously the bundle is created so that you can do the contrast therapy. Kelsey did cold and I did sauna, because sauna is not for pregnant ladies. Which is why you have to talk to your doctor before you try any of this, right? Like, we did an immense amount of research. Cold plunge, okay for pregnant ladies, but you would talk to your doctor if you're pregnant about your specific pregnancy, but sauna not so much. So I had to be the guinea pig for the sauna, and Kelsey, the sauna in Florida in July.
True.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, that is why we say like 100% talk to your doctor, because even if you're not pregnant, you might have some other health conditions that just might give you a pause on some of that. And it doesn't mean necessarily that you can't use any of them. You just may need to proceed with caution, and they can help guide you. And doing some internet research can help guide you a little bit too on your specific ailments or whatever it is that might be something that you might need to look out for when you look at hot therapy or saunas and cold plunges. So we have the bundle, and the bundle is on sale right now for $449. They're selling like hotcakes. I mean, hot and cold therapy is really popular right now, so the bundle is currently sold out, but I know that they haven't notified me when available, and they will be back in stock soon. So if at the end of
The
this,
sauna is available.
the sauna is available.
It's just the bundle is out of stock right now. So
yeah. So getting the bundle together obviously is going to save you some money from being like trying to purchase both of those separately, even from some different things. So I tried the cold plunge, and so some of the pros that I had for that, it was a really simple setup. It took maybe 10 to 20 minutes. It was very, very, very simple. You put the poles in and you blow. It gives you like a little pump to kind of like inflate the top. It's super, super simple, to the point where I was like, I should watch the video again.
Did I do this right?
Yeah. It's mobile, so you can take the cold plunge anywhere. It comes with a little mobile pack, and it really it is actually very mobile. It folds up really nice, and it has a little travel pack with it. So it is not even any more cumbersome than bringing a tripod with you. It definitely works and gets the job done. It holds water. You put ice in it. It gets cold. You can plunge in it. It gets the job done for sure. It's a really good value. I looked at some of the other cold plunges just in comparison. What are they running for? What's happening out there to get more of an idea? And a lot of them run upwards of $12,000.
Lord.
Yeah. And with the typical range sitting around like 2,000 to 6,000 is usually where the cold plunge range sits. So obviously this was a really good value, but those are ones that are going to be like in your house or in your backyard, and they're going to stay there. They're not going to travel with you. So this is more of a travel one. Doesn't take up a lot of space. You can definitely pack it up easily. You could break it down right at the end of the night if you don't want to keep it up. Like, it's that simple.
If you're just also, I just want to say, if you're just interested in just the tub and not the bundle, if you just want to work on your cold therapy, it's $149 as a standalone item. So, I mean, comparatively to some of those,
yeah, like $2,000.
Oh my God, like.
I mean, some of the tubs, I'm telling you, are like more than $12,000. I mean, they're
wild.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you kind of like the differences between the two, just so you can kind of understand where that number comes from. But like for less than $150, you're definitely getting a great value to be able to cold plunge easily and to be able to just break it down. It does have a draining hose, which was, or two draining hoses, which was very convenient because it's a little nozzle that you just turn and it completely drains the tub, which was helpful for us because we had a couple mishaps.
Well, it's not like the heave ho to dump it. It's like,
no, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the heave ho. Although we had knocked it over. Let me just tell you guys this. Matt and I are a trip because two people with ADHD trying to get things done, sometimes we forget about one thing. So we were filling up the tub, but also looking at this wall we were creating. And it led from looking at the wall to looking at another tool to then we were in the garage and we were doing several different things. And then I was like, oh, the tub. So we like running out there, and the tub's like, like it's like filled up
Help.
it's way too much. It's spilling out the side. So then he tries to grab the tub, but knocks it over. And we were like, okay, start again.
Start again. Start over.
We
But the start
forgot.
over was okay because it had a nice draining hose.
Yeah, it did have a
Very
nice
good.
draining hose because then, when you knock it kind of over, you didn't knock it like completely over, but in order to move it a little bit, you can just turn the nozzle to drain the hose a little bit, to get it set up. And it's a super quick drain too. Like it's got 2 nozzles. It'll drain it out really nicely. So I found that to be very easy and convenient. So if you really did want to just set it up for a single session, it's not like you have to like heave ho it over. You just turn both the nozzles, empty it out, and you can pack it back up. So for if you're traveling with your cold plunge, that's really great. Some of the cons that I found were I would have liked it to have a thermometer so that I could see what the temperature was. On the flip side of that, you could just buy a thermometer like on Amazon for a couple bucks and put it in there. That's what I'm going to do with this, but I would like for it to come with a thermometer so we could see what temperature we were at. If you are on the taller side, I did not have problem getting in and out of the tub, and I didn't have a problem plunging in it. But if you're 6 feet or over, you might have just a little like so my boyfriend is a little over 6 feet tall, and he could get in and out, but he was definitely like he had mentioned that he would have liked a little more space.
Mm-hmm.
Because his knees were like up against his chest, and he could definitely get in. But I would also say along those same lines, if you have someone who is like older or a little bit less mobile, you're going to have a little bit of trouble getting in and out. And if you're not able to kind of like tuck down like that to get in the tub, it would definitely be difficult. Like we were thinking about his dad getting into the tub, and he definitely couldn't because he couldn't get in that kind of like more of a like seated position. There's no seat
For the
inside
full, so like you'd be
to get your
plunging.
shoulders in. He would
Right.
just kind of be like standing in
Sure.
it, like he couldn't get down into it. And you do have to kind of step over to get into it. There's no step or anything. So just for anyone that would be a little bit less mobile, it's just something to think about or consider. And so you fill it up with your hose, and then you put ice into it. It doesn't like make ice or anything like that. So getting like it would have been cooler maybe if it had like something to bring the ice out with. I think that would have been more helpful. But I think what we're gonna do is get like an ice block maker. Like how something like you can freeze those like big blocks of ice,
Mm-hmm.
and then just put that in the tub instead of kind of carting ice from inside your house to the tub,
Definitely. Yeah.
because that's
definitely.
just is a little bit more like cumbersome, and for me just not user friendly. If you're in a colder climate, this keeping the ice bath cold is going to be much easier for you because
The hose water just comes out at 50 degrees.
yeah. And if you leave it, it has a top, so you leave it overnight. Like you could fill it up, you leave it overnight. For a lot of people in colder climates, like you leave something overnight, like half of it's gonna be kind of like frozen anyway. But in South Florida, there's no chance of that happening. So we need to cool it down every time. So having something that's easier to get the ice in there, like just a cold block like that, is going to be something that I'm definitely going to do.
Or if you're Portuguese and you have a fridge in your
Yeah.
basement, a second fridge.
A second
This
fridge.
is I can say this because I'm Maruda. I don't know why Portuguese people do this, but they have multiple fridges all around their house.
Yeah.
If you do that and you just get some bagged ice, then you could keep it in your. I just can't keep bagged ice in my freezer because there's not enough room in my one freezer.
In your one freezer. That's why we were
I
thinking
need
of
another
going
freezer.
with kind of the bigger, just like block. I
Yeah.
saw another friend do this who has a cold plunge, and I don't know what he used, but it's almost like if you guys have ever made mixed drinks, like whiskey drinks, where you have those kind of like big ice cubes, you just put one in there, just kind of fancy. It's fancy.
Fancy.
Instead of having like a little bunch of ice, it's just like that big ice cube. So I was just thinking about that on a bigger level. Would be just like save a little bit more space in your freezer, and you could just like grab it and throw it in.
Yeah, definitely.
My suggestion, so they could sell that with it. That would be cool. I'm just engineering it. This is what you get when you ask me for something. I'm like, we could do this. And you definitely need a flat surface for this. So it's portable, right? So it's got poles that hold it up, but nothing is secured into the ground. So if you're on some type of like incline, it is gonna like tip over a little bit. So you need to be on a flat surface just to be able to have it like hold out and not feel like it's gonna weeble wobble and fall over. So I would say if you guys are looking for a cold plunge, and I'd say this is a really great value. I do think that when you specifically are looking for your like cold tub, you should think about the things that are going to be friction points for you and
It's the
decide.
cold.
Yeah. Like, is it the setup? Is it, what are some of the things, like, you've decided you're going to get in the cold plunge, but like, what are some of the things that are going to stop you from getting into the cold plunge, and what are you willing to invest? Because there are other tubs that generate the cold water for you. You don't have to put ice in it. It just makes it. But they are definitely more expensive. But if that's going to be something that you want to invest in, and you don't want to use like ice from your freezer, you don't want to get this kind of like block of ice where you freeze and then can throw it in there, there's other options. But they're definitely going to run you a ton more money.
A ton more.
Yeah. um, and I do want you guys, like, as you're looking into the types of cold plunge baths, they have different heights in there that they have named for, like, this one fits a person that is up to 6 feet tall. This one fits someone up to 6'5", that kind of a thing. So if you're looking for like maybe you and your partner, or you're on the taller side, I would just take a look at that just to make sure, like, for your height, you can comfortably fit into the cold plunge. With this one, like I said, I'm 5'4". I didn't have a problem getting in. But watching him get in and kind of like come down, I was like, oh, okay. Like I could get where a taller person might have just a little bit more difficulty. And he's at 6 feet and fit fine in this one, but they do have different heights that they show on different plunges that you can see. So just some of the other ones that I kind of like looked up that I wanted to talk to you guys about, if you were interested, is some of the top ranking ones that I found was made the Plunge was one of the best ones that I found on the market. That's like $6K. So it would be definitely like it's a big investment. But you fill it, you set it up, that you set the temperature. There's no ice needed. It sets to the temperature that you tell it to. The water is circulating through, and ice is generated, and it's put to the temperature that you've decided that you want to set it at. So they do have some other ones that are great for people who need maybe some stairs to get in, or like you could also like put a step to get into them. Like, you could engineer it yourself, but there are some other barrel ones that are not necessarily travel friendly, but that have a seat in there and are easier for someone a little bit less mobile to get into the cold plunge, because you can still use some of these. One of the best ones I found was made by Ice Barrel, and that was around $1,200. Like I said, like these ones are not cheap, but they do have like steps to get in there, rotating water. And there's some like budget ones also on Amazon that will not make any ice for you for sure. Like, you're putting the ice in for sure. But they like a similar thing where they are mobile and just run you around like $60.
I think that, if you're interested in cold therapy, but you're not ready to make, a giant monetary commitment to this, I think that this is a great option because it's a really nice bath that will give you all the benefits that you're looking for. But if it's one of those things where, you're not using it as consistently as you hoped or whatever, it also breaks down. It's not like I know a
Yeah.
lot of people that went with the barrels during the pandemic. Those barrels are still sitting in their yard
Yeah,
as an
they don't break
eyesore, and
down
they're
and they're big.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I used the SaunaBox, which was a real experience in South Florida in July. I would just want to open with that. The SaunaBox is on sale right now for $349. It is on sale. That's like as its own, and as Kelsey said, you can bundle it.
Yeah,
This
for
is a
$100 more, like a
I
little less
know.
than $100 more to bundle it. I mean, I'd bundle it.
Right? I know,
Yeah.
because just that contrast therapy and the immense amount of benefits that are gonna come from that, it really does make sense. This is a traditional sauna. So, I know that, when we did the light therapy episode, I talked to you guys about some infrared options, but this is a traditional sauna where we're, like, getting steamed. We're getting steamed and we're getting sweaty. Regarding whether or not, which is the superior sauna, right? Infrared or traditional. Um, this is a completely personal thing. And they do have different benefits. When it comes to infrared, we're like, think more like deep reaching. I remember when I talked to you guys about the blanket and how, like, the claims are that it gets deeper into the muscle tissue because of the wavelength of the light. When we're thinking about traditional saunas, we're more on the, like, detoxification, right? These are going to really make you sweat. They have a ton of benefits for, like, stress relief, for clearing your, like, pores, your skin. And it's a different vibe. I definitely think that as far as respiratory benefits, traditional saunas every time. So if you're a person that, like, suffers from any allergies, or if you, like, have a cold, or if you just find, like, overall your sinuses are just kind of, like, suffering or small, especially, in the allergy time of year, 100% I would recommend a traditional sauna because it just gives that, like, clears you out that you just can't get from infrared as much. So,
I actually love that about like traditional saunas, because like you just, when you get that like deep breath, even
mm,
if you're not feeling congested, you just are like, okay, let's work that through.
absolutely. I actually, if you were to ask me, I prefer traditional saunas over infrared, only because maybe it's just like the environment we grew up in. I'm more comfortable in, like, a humid environment than I am in a dry. Like, when I get in an infrared sauna, it feels a little bit drying to me. Even though I'm, like, sweating.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like the steam more personally, but again, it's going to just be completely up to you. The SaunaBox can get upwards of 130 degrees Fahrenheit. I did not set mine that high. I made that mistake one time and I'm not going to ever do it again. And it gets to, like, near 100% humidity. So, I mean, I'll share a video of the setup and breakdown that I did. I just did a time lapse. It's okay. So it's like a octagon or something, or whatever that shape is.
Mm.
And it's definitely not a setup and breakdown, like, same day. Like, it's not like once you set it up, you want to like leave it up. It is
Okay.
an easy setup. It only took me like 20 minutes, but it would be a pain in the ass to like set it up and take it down every single day. So I would say you'd want a dedicated space for it. I put it in my garage. It was perfect. It didn't take up a ton of room. And again, the setup was easy peasy.
Mhm.
It works on a remote control. So you can do your heat and duration settings on your remote or on the unit, doesn't matter. And it is BPA free and microplastic free, and it's, it's use safe materials. You can use it inside according to SaunaBox. I used it in my garage, but they say that it won't ruin your floors, that it's water resistant for your floor. So, you kind of have this, it's kind of like a tent, again, with the poles, and you zip and unzip to get out. It does have a window. It comes with a seat. And then your unit that creates your sauna sits sort of outside. You fill it with water, and you get the your thing going. I will say this, as far as the pros go, that was an incredibly um the sauna worked perfectly. I
Mhm.
mean, it was like tight, so I didn't feel like there was a ton of steam like leaking out or anything. It was really, really a great product that I thought was such an amazing option for that price point at $349. It did all of $349 and more. I felt really, really happy with it. As far as like respite, I did mine before bed. I always get an amazing sleep on a
Yeah.
sauna bed. Like it's unlike any other sleep for me. And the respiratory
I miss
benefits.
that right now. I
Right?
really miss that right now, because, like, pregnancy insomnia is a real thing, like, people have like, I had to internet search it because I was like, "I'm so tired, I should be getting the best sleep ever, what's
No.
happening?" And I was like like, "Why?" Like, "What's wrong with me?" And then I was like, "Oh, a ton of other women have done this," and I was like, "I would really love." I'm gonna be fully transparent with you guys right now. What I would really love is a gummy and a sauna. And like that for me, like that's where my mind goes. Like I would really love like a gummy, a sauna, a stretch, and just like a bed. And like 50%, 75% of those things are out of reach. I'm like, why?
I just got the bed.
I can't even have my like dream tea. Like I can't.
Oh,
Like
that's a
all of them have been
beautiful.
taken.
Oh my God. They take everything.
They
They
take
take
everything. I'm just
everything.
left here with my
Just
sleep and
wait.
my
Oh,
thoughts.
just wait. Oh my God. Um,
Yeah, I
so
can't wait for that though.
yeah, that's
Post.
yes.
It's gonna be something I
Post.
genuinely look forward to is to get a
Oh,
sauna before bed.
it's gonna
It's
be
gonna
so good.
it's gonna be so good.
I love my sauna sleep. It's definitely unlike any other sleep. I loved the respiratory benefits from this sauna. I felt so clear. It was amazing, and I also love the skin benefits. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you're going to sweat a shit ton, right? But like you come out and your pores are just so open, and like I like, because I do it before bed, I go in like a shower and then I put all my goops on, and
Yeah.
the absorption, my God, it was just like my skin really benefits from regular sauna use. And
It's like we can finally sweat. Give us some more water. It's just like finally opening. It's like a forced opening because you can't
I
sweat
know
any
it's
other times.
well, listen, I know I need to do better, but it's so hard to remember. I was in there and it's just like there's so much water in here. I don't need more. Um as far as muscle recovery, awesome. I will say if I was stacking up the two, I felt like like specifically the joint and muscle recovery was a little bit stronger in the infrared. But it's still just like it gets you loosey goosey, you know? So it's just like you just feel amazing when you get out of there. And, there's been a ton of scientists who have come out and said like daily use of the sauna with the amount of environmental toxins that we have, the flushing out of the toxins after each day, because you cannot, at this point in the world, you cannot control your exposure to these things any longer. So just accepting that you are being exposed and then hopping in the sauna every day to sort of flush out as many of those, toxins you've been exposed to as possible is great. I loved it. I do want to say this. I would not gummy and go in the sauna, and here's why. It's freaking small in there. Okay? Like I told you when I did
Freaking out,
I
man.
I'm freaking out, man. Like that's me. I have to be careful on gummies anyways for freaking out, man. But like, I would no, you can't combine small spaces for me because I had to do everything I could to remain calm. It got a little bit better the more I used it, but I will say that when I used the blanket, like having my head out and being able to breathe the air, like that was something that eased my anxiety. Whereas this, you are in a small space. If you have problems with small space, I would not say this is for you. The other thing is you can't use your phone, obviously. So, which is great. But I was using my phone for a meditation app so that I could like listen. You can kind of hear it from outside the sauna,
Okay,
but
I was
you
wondering if
have to be.
the thing was loud, like to fill up the sauna.
It's not loud, but, like,
Okay.
you are in, like, an airtight bag, you
Yeah,
know? So,
true.
like, it does have a window if you panicked, which I did use a couple times because I did panic because it's a small space, and then, the air is very steamed and hard a little bit, like, I wanna say hard to breathe, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
when you're in a humid environment, it's thick as my thighs. So, I opened the window a couple times during my session, which like eased my anxiety a lot. I'm sure that's not probably the recommended way, but and
You
yeah, so
could
I
you could use the wireless, like if you put wireless headphones in though, right? Like you could probably still keep your phone outside and put your meditation on there and still be able to listen.
yeah, I didn't even think of. Oh, well, I don't own wireless headphones because I'm a weirdo and I have Bluetooth in the brain. I don't know, I'm a weirdo. But yeah, that's definitely a good option. I was trying to like crank my phone up from outside and like try to hear it, which like wasn't the greatest. But yeah, wireless headphones with your meditation, that would be awesome. I found once I got over the small space, the experience was incredibly relaxing. And obviously, the post is what it's really more about. It's not super enjoyable to sit in the sauna. Like, that's not your golden time. Your golden time is when you get out because you just feel so amazing. Um, so yeah, the only thing I would say is you definitely probably want to have a dedicated space for this. You don't want to be breaking down and setting up daily. But it's small. It's if you got a garage, you got plenty. You can
Yeah.
definitely put it in your yard. You just would have to take the unit in and out because obviously you wouldn't want it to get wet or anything. And I used it a bunch of times, and I never had a problem with it like drying out either. Like I just opened up everything and everything was I like wiped it down a little bit and everything was dry by the next time I got in there. So I wouldn't worry about like any mold growth or anything like that. So an awesome value in my opinion. But just, beware if you have a little small space issue because
Yeah. Well, it's
it's
gift and it's
compact.
curse because like
It
it
is.
doesn't take up a lot of room if you want to leave it up. I mean, to be honest with you, I would leave both of them up because they both don't take up. We can put a picture of them too for you guys, but they both don't take up a ton of space. So like having them like in your garage or like I put it in my backyard, um it it didn't like putting it in the backyard like on the we have a pool back there on the other side of the pool. Like it wasn't like a big eyesore or like take up a ton of space or anything. It was just a little small thing. So leaving it up really wouldn't be a problem for us. So if you just have like a little bit of space and you plan on using it daily, and but with both of these, if you're going with the bundle, I would probably just leave them up.
Yeah, and even side by side is even better because, you can do your therapy and not have to, be running. I mean, they're made for each other, obviously, but they're both such a great value for the money that I would definitely recommend just getting the bundle and getting both, because I just think that this is one of those things that you will find yourself using on the regular. I look forward to, getting in the sauna. And I do think if I had a cold plunge, I would try it. I will try it. I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
It's not my jam, but I will try it because I am invested in, that back and forth and all of the like incredible benefits that come with that. So
Yeah, the benefits of contrast therapy for sure.
it's
And you
yeah.
can like I when I found out that like you don't have to go that cold based on your threshold, I was like, you know?
You know?
Because when people say like I know that sometimes, and this like happens in society all the time, where we're like, oh, that people are like, no, I just can't handle that. And I was like, oh, you're just such a baby. Like, keep trying, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, people's threshold is different. Just like people's threshold for stress is different. People's threshold for hot and cold is very different. And like, you just know this about yourself, which is why you moved to Florida. Your threshold for hot is better than your threshold for cold.
Always has been.
It always has been. You were born in a cold climate and you're like, I have to get out of here because I would rather spend summers in South Florida rather than spend winters in the Northeast. That's like life lesson right there.
Wait, I
But it
mean, that's why you got to know yourself too. And that's why also you have to just be confident in, like, I know they say I'm supposed to put this at 55, but I'm putting it at 63 because that's how I feel the best. And like, I don't need to just, we always say like the best kind of workout is the one you'll do. And the best temperature for the cold plunge is the one that you'll cold plunge at.
yeah.
So same for the sauna. So we do have a code for you guys. It's TTSL. They are having some 4th of July sales right now. SaunaBox is a great product. Excellent reviews on their site, and we,
Yeah,
did
they have a
talk to the owner. They
ton
have a
of
ton of reviews.
reviews. Yeah.
We did, talk to the owner in him getting us some of these products. He's a great guy and it's a great company. So if you are interested, it's saunabox.com. TTSL is your code to use. And let us know if you have any more questions on biohacking, cold and hot therapy. If you haven't tried either one of these or even together, highly recommend it. You're just going to, it's unlike anything else.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where like some of these like biohacking techniques, I'm not going to say like you got to try every one of them, but with hot and cold therapy, I do think you need to try.
It's not even, it's a thing that's also tough to explain too,
Yeah.
because like you can't explain, you just feel the best thing. I was like trying to put together my notes for this, and I was like, the best thing that I can think of for hot and cold therapy is you just feel alive, like more
Yeah.
alive, like your skin just feels more alive, and like your muscles just feel more, everything just feels like it's like firing,
Yeah.
like
You
you're
get that
awake.
jolt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will continue on our biohacking series for all of the budget-friendly options that you can hack to be running your best and brightest and most amazing body forever.
Forever. All right, guys. We love you.